Now then, defense, Mr. Light, was it? Kira?
That's right, your majesty. Phoenix Wright, and it's Dr. Light.
Of course, Mr. Wright. My apologies. Well, now that we have this newly uncovered fact, I suggest we proceed with arguments.
Thank you, your majesty.
Yes, but do not misunderstand me. This doesn't mean I trust you completely. I'll be keeping a close eye on you, so don't think about lying in this court.
I understand, your majesty. Whew! Maybe now I can finally run a real trial.
Arguments, your majesty? Very well. I accept your challenge.
Huh? What's with him?
Oh, the look on your face, Mr. Wright. It's just... it's just too hilarious.
What's so funny, Mr. Payne?
The defense still doesn't get it. The truth he unearthed is going to bury him and his case instead.
What do you mean by that, prosecutor?
I told you, it's Chief Prosecutor.
Yes, because that's the point of focus right now.
The defense is digging its own grave. Consider this, your majesty. Why would the victim, a security guard, point a gun at the accused?
Oh,
Indeed, because the accused was about to commit a theft. It's the only logical explanation.
What? Fuck! That does sound pretty logical, actually.
It doesn't help the accused situation at all. If anything, it makes him look even more guilty.
yes, I have to agree.
Allow me to spell out this truth the defense didn't bother to think through. Mr. Roll came across the accused just as he was trying to steal the treasure. The guard pointed his gun at the accused, and just when the power went out, the accused murdered the victim and hid the body in the treasure room. A hand truck for moving heavy treasure around is stored in the treasure room. The accused could have easily moved the body with that. God, Payne is talking way too much. My throat.
Ugh. And after all that hard work to knock down those insights, backed into the old familiar corner once more.
Mr. Wright, do you have a rebuttal?
Of course I do, and I promise I'm not bluffing. I'm drawing a total blank here.
I hope you're ready to climb that scaffold.
Oh fuck, they do hangings?
The hanging precedes the beheading.
Wait, what? You do both?
We're a thorough people, Mr. Wright.
Not throwing your investigation. I've got nothing. I can't think of any grounds for an objection. The only thing to do at this point is to ask the defendant himself what happened. But I don't know if Albie will cooperate with me or not. Albie, will you tell us what really happened?
You don't have to say anything, accused. Fall for his evil trap, and you'll only dirty your own soul.
Albie, you have to tell me the truth. I can't help you unless you do.
Mr. Wright, I'm sorry.
I actually did commit that murder! Why? Why won't he trust me? Is this it? Is this the end? For both of us? Maya, I'm sorry. I never got to see how hot you grew up to be. Oh, that was you.
That was me? I had never met a real lawyer before. Everybody always told me they're bad people who help dirty criminals go free. I never thought a lawyer would actually try to help me. Would actually believe in me, would risk his own life for me. I never would have even imagined it.
Albie.
So that's why I lied, to try and save myself. But I'm not going to lie anymore. If you believe in me enough to put your life on the line, then I'm going to believe in you too.
What? But belief in each other? That's ridiculous!
Allow me to explain!
Now we're talking. Time to finally get to the bottom of things.
To be honest, I went into the treasure room lots of times to look at the treasure box. Even though the temple told you weren't allowed to go anywhere near it? Yes, I'm sorry. Mr. Roll even saw me once and scolded me. But that box is so beautiful, the way it glows in the dark. I couldn't help myself.
Wait, glows in the fucking dark? That sounds tacky.
That's right. It's covered in this special mineral called uranium that makes it glow. It's absolutely breathtaking. It's really a shame they don't put it on display for the public. Can you imagine how many people would go on night tours in the temple if they did?
If only you applied such passion to telling me the truth earlier.
On the day of the incident, I was on my way to the treasure room again, when I ran into Mr. Roll on the great stairs. So those were not the treasure room stairs in the Seance vision? No, they were the great stairs that connect to the hallway.
Makes sense. The vision wasn't clear enough to show us what was at the top of the stairs.
All of a sudden, Mr. Roll drew his gun and threatened me with it. I quickly put my hands up. Mr. Roll, he acted so scary. For some reason, he had his scarf over his mouth. I couldn't read his expression at all. Just then, the power went out. So I took that chance to hightail it out of there. I ran for my life, even now when I try to think back on it. All I can remember are the gun and the piercing look in Mr. Roll's eyes. That must have been why I dropped to the notice scroll.
Which means someone else brought it into the treasure room, along with Mr. Roll's body. Did Mr. Roll say anything to you when you ran into him on the stairs? What is it, Albie?
I have no idea why, but he asked me a strange question. Did you steal it? He said.
What?
I'm sorry. I'm sorry I didn't say all this before. I didn't think anybody would believe me.
A grand speech. One that confirmed my suspicions that you were the thief.
Objection!
But that might just have been the victim's misunderstanding.
Objection!
Where there's smoke, there's fire, as they say. The victim must have had good reason to be suspicious of the accused.
Why does every new piece of information have to seem so incriminating?
Shadow! What do I do, Shadow?
And what better reason to suspect the boy than seeing the treasure box in his hands?
He wouldn't be asking, did you take it, if he had the treasure box in his fucking hands?
In the course of his rounds, the victim must have noticed that the treasure had been stolen. And then just after that, he ran into the accused. I'll be your guide.
No, that's not what happened.
Therefore, the one who stole the treasure box and killed the victim can be none other than the accused.
What now?
Shadow, down, boy! Well, what do we have here? I'm sorry about this. This is my dog, Shadow. You nearly gave me a heart attack.
So that's what was making his bag move.
Can you quiet that yappy mutt down?
Shadow says that Mr. Roll made a mistake.
You can understand him.
Don't tell me this is a surprise witness for the defense.
I beg your pardon? You're not thinking of cross-examining an animal, are you?
Of course not, Your Majesty. Not this time, anyway. There was this one time with a parrot, and then another time with a whale.
Cross-examined a whale?
Yeah, it was the DLC case for the last game, and it's actually one of the best cases in the series.
Well, I'm glad to hear about that. I thought I'd have to reassess my assessment of your sanity for a second there.
It's like Turnabout Circus, only good.
I don't know what that means.
Turnabout Circus is like the worst case in the entire series.
Okay.
I think I'd better reassess my strategy, and fast. I have to somehow show that somebody else could have struck the victim, or were sunk. While it's true that the defendant was standing in front of the victim when he died, it doesn't mean somebody else couldn't have struck the victim at that time.
If you're going to go that far, then I hope this means you have another angle of approach ready.
Exactly. I mean, who but the accused standing front and center could have done it?
Like somebody standing behind him? Duh.
Unless you can back up your claim, it's nothing more than conjecture.
Okay, come on, Phoenix. I know I can think of something convincing.
Just pick someone from the gallery and accuse them.
Yeah, just anyone?
Anyone!
Where else could the victim have been struck from?
It's the performance hall. Click on the performance hall.
I don't...
That's where the benevolence is, and she has magic powers. She can hit him from anywhere.
Oh, shit! With the defendant standing in front of the victim. Isn't it possible that the victim could have been struck from behind?
From behind, you say? I see. No, I don't think that's possible. But I suppose, for the sake of argument, we'll assume it could be possible. If you'd like to continue, Mr. Wright.
Good. Now at least I have some breathing room.
But who do you suppose it could have been?
Oh, the true culprit, naturally. The one who actually committed the theft and murder.
The true culprit? And I suppose you have a true timeline of events to go along with that?
I should have known I'd have to explain everything. Alright, if we assume the true culprit struck the victim from behind, then that means... After going to the treasure room and stealing the treasure, the true culprit tried to escape. But then Mr. Roll appeared, making his rounds. I imagine the culprit then quickly hid in the storeroom at the other end of the hallway.
You're grasping at straws, Mr. Wright.
Well, you'll be gasping in pain soon.
Admit it, you have nothing but baseless conjecture.
Is there a prosecution culpability, part of the
Obviously.
law? Because that way, if the accused gets off scot-free, so does the prosecutor, right? That seems fair.
Is that... I'm going to look for something to base it on right now. Because I don't have anything to base it on. Albie, when you ran into Mr. Roll in the hallway, was there anyone around the storeroom area?
I don't know. There might have been somebody there, but I couldn't see.
The dog's super fucking cute.
I was only halfway down the stairs, so I couldn't see the ends of the hallway.
I see. Swing and a miss.
Oh, Shadow says that someone was there.
I see. Thank you for that, Shadow. Too bad his testimony is inadmissible. You think this is a joke? There's a dog representing testimony. Be serious, please. Maybe the defendant didn't happen to see this other person. But that doesn't mean the true culprit couldn't have been there in the hallway.
Objection!
Your desperate floundering is getting hard to watch. But I will enjoy watching you squirm and sink.
What are you talking about?
Unfortunately for you, only the accused and the victim were there in that hallway at the time of the incident.
How can you continue to make that assertion?
Because there was a witness. A very reliable eyewitness who we're only now mentioning.
What?
Your Majesty, the prosecution would like to call its witness to the stand.
Calling an eyewitness to the stand, It's been decades since that happened.
And unlike the defense's eyewitness, you can rest assured that there will be no pets involved.
That was a low blow.
Very well, I'll allow it. And now for something we've not heard in quite some time. Bring the witness to the stand.
Let's see.
It's Lubin and Standen.
Let's see. He looks hippie-like, so I'd go for that with a voice.
Pace Lubin Understanding's the name. I'm like Temple's head monk, can you dig?
That's good, that's perfect.
Oh, if it isn't Instructor Understanding. You're the eyewitness?
Instructor?
Not only is Mr. Understanding Temple's head monk.
God, these so many fucking apostrophes.
But he's also a renowned
Damalan?
Damalan expert.
Sorry to have to ask, but what the fuck is a Damalan?
Check it. Here she is, my sweet serenader, my one and only. Groovy, right? But you heard our sultry sounds once before, brother. When... Wow, that's really slow lyrics. When dragon and... tiger... Jesus Christ. Maybe I'll give him a lead. So slow in tiger and dragon battle.
That was kind of neat. They had the beeps timed to the song. That's the song from the Dance of Devotion.
Right on, brother. The song of ceremony. Playing this tune together is a precious gig for me and my girl here, you dig?
The Song of Ceremony, that song that was playing at the time of the murder.
Oh, Holy Mother, may the righteous sounds of my Damalan serve as my offering to you. Thank you, thank you. Wonderful. A great performance as always. This is my thing, you know, my bag. Make me instruments speak, baby. By the by, Magistrate Pops. No Damalon class today. Or... No, I'm afraid this trial has gone into overtime, thanks to the lawyer over there.
The class the judge wanted to attend was a Damalon lesson?
Well, you know what they say, baby. Never trust the lawyer, man. But transgressors against the Holy Mother have to be brought to justice.
Thank you for your cooperation, Mr. Understanding. As the treasure's keeper, you must have been shocked to learn it had been stolen.
Yeah, man. That was not cool.
Keeping the treasure safe is one of your duties, Mr. Understanding.
That's right, brother. This here's the one and only treasure box key. And I keep it on me at all times, can you dig? But the sneaky thief went and cracked open that sucker anyway. Total bummer, man.
So that's the key for the treasure box, is it?
You know it, baby. It's called the Magatama key, and it's a historical artifact to boot. It's been passed down from head monk to head monk at Temple.
The Magatama key, huh? It's not shaped like a Magatama.
And now someone's jacked the treasure on my watch. It's a real buzzkill, man. How am I ever gonna face Her Holiness again? Oh, Holy Mother, please find it in your infinite mercy to forgive me. Please guide this lost and humble lamb.
Why do I always get the far out ones?
Mr. Understanding, you witnessed the accused and the victim head into the treasure room?
You know it, baby. Best believe I scoped that tiny that tiny transgressor. Would you please give the court your testimony regarding what you saw? To bring justice against the transgressor, man. Yes, of course, I'll do all I can. In the name of Her Holiness, I vow to sing, not but the truth I swear to bring. Hit me! What I saw, baby. By Mr. Understanding. After the morning dance of devotion. To go back to my chamber, I got the notion. Don't you know my chamber's on the way? To the temple's treasure room, hey.
Force rhyme.
Any small footsteps I can quite clearly hear, if anyone to the treasure room goes near. Albie was the only one. Albie was the only one. Before the blackout, one other than Roll. Only Albie to the treasure room did stroll. Already on Spotify, everyone.
Tell me I was hallucinating that just now.
Like, can you believe Mr. Roll bit the big one after that? Harsh, man.
I share your sentiments. You were the one who discovered the victim's body, weren't you, Mr. Understand?
What? You found the body as well? He really is a key witness then. Why wasn't that part of your fucking testimony?
That's right, brother. After the blackout, I went to reset the breaker and give power back to the people. The circuit box is near my chamber, so I'm Always the man for the job, you hear me? The breakers are in the first floor hallway, in front of the storeroom. On the way, I got a whip of something funky. Blood, man, really harshed my mellow. I knew something wasn't kosher, so I swung by the treasure room to see what's what. And it was like, whoa, man, there was poor Mr. Roll, dead as a doornail.
In the interval between the end of the dance of devotion and the blackout, the only ones who went to the scene of the crime were the victim and the accused. So you see, Mr. Understanding's unassailable account is what led to the accused's arrest.
Hold it! Isn't it possible that the murder took place before the end of the dance of devotion?
I'm afraid that's not possible. The victim was in the performance hall until the very end of the dance.
He was? Oh, fuck.
Would you like some proof? How's this? A photo taken by a tourist of the morning dance of devotion.
My, what graceful dancing. I can almost hear the sound of Mr. Understanding's Darmalon now.
Payne's right. There's Mr. Roll, on duty.
Never underestimate the incredible pain!
Ugh. So in addition to Rafa's insights, he had backup evidence lined up too, huh?
As head monk, my monks in training are like my own kids, like family, can you dig it? I should have taught Albie better, man. Before Her Holiness, the Holy Mother. Oh, Albie, confess your sins, my young brother. Oh, head monk understanding, I didn't kill Mr. Roll, so I don't have anything to confess to the Holy Mother. What? What? Bogus, little man. Your faith is weak, like a wet paper bag. Are you feeling me? Spare the rod, hey baby. Spoil the child? Not maybe.
Oh yeah, spare rod, spoil the child, very hippie.
Her Holiness is magnanimous, son. If you confess your guilt, she'll forgive you in the shadow realm.
I don't suppose she could forgive him in this realm first.
Defense, please give your cross-examination.
Well, alright. This one I'll probably have to press. I saw it.
After the morning dance of devotion, to go back to my chamber. Don't you know my chamber's on the way to the treasure temple's treasure room? Hey.
You don't have to read the.
Thank goodness.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Because I'm going to be going back and forth.
Oh, good. Okay, that makes good sense.
Yeah, we'll be editing most of this probably.
Okay.
Let's see. Small footsteps. Albie was the only one. Before the blackout, one other than Roll. Only Albie to the treasure room did stroll. Probably have to start pressing.
So, are we able to look at our evidence and shit during this?
Yeah.
Okay. So do we have where his room is on the layout of the temple?
Yeah. It's across from the performance hall.
I see.
So there's like, I guess there's a window through and a window there, so we can see.
Okay. And I have to walk past his room to go to the stairs.
Right. Okay, so press.
Hold it!
I have a question.
Lay it on me, man. How dare you interrupt the performance of the great Peace Lubin? Peace Lubin. I wonder what the pun was in the
Peace,
first...
love, and understanding.
Oh, okay. Peace, love, and understanding. I was really enjoying that.
Sorry, but, there's something about the name I can't put my finger on.
What's so funny about peace, love, and understanding? You had a question for me, brother?
You were playing something during the Dance of Devotion, weren't you?
You know it, baby. I was playing my beautiful girl right here, this Damalan. In offering to Her Holiness, I play the music, and the singers sing the song of ceremony. Mr. Understanding's playing is the best in the kingdom. It must please Her Holiness greatly. Now then, could you continue with your testimony, Mr. Understanding? For the Holy Mother, I keep on trucking. This Damalan still needs some plucking. Did it have the G on the second one, but an apostrophe for the first?
What? Oh,
In the previous line, I think it was plucking and trucking, or no, trucking and plucking.
Oh, that's fucking weird. You're right.
I probably just read it wrong.
Hold it!
Could you please point out one more time where your chamber is located? Yeah, man, no sweat. So that's, I'm pretty sure
My
that's
chamber's on the way from the performance hall to the treasure room.
So anyone going to the treasure room would have to pass by Understanding's chamber.
Give peace, love, and a chance. Any small footstep.
Hold it!
Even from inside your chamber, you can still hear what's going on outside?
Temple's a groovy old building, built from Mother...
Nature's finest.
Yeah, that. I thought it went without saying. You can hear a pin drop through the wooden walls, you dig?
In an old building like that, I guess the walls must be pretty thin.
And that's how Mr. Understand. Ugh. Yeah.
Oh.
Hairball.
And that's how Mr. Understanding could know the culprit's movements.
Ugh.
It's all thanks to Her Holy Mother's divine protection.
Right on, my man. I dedicate this testimony to Her Holiness.
Hold it!
How could you tell it was Albie just from the sound of some footsteps?
Albie is practically family, man. The smooth groove of his shoes are easy to pick out.
But how do you know he went to the treasure room? Didn't you think it was possible he went to the storeroom at the other end of the hall?
No way, man. I saw him with my own 2 eyes.
You saw him?
In the treasure room. This you can believe. My peepers peep, the sneaky sneak I'll be.
And tell us where it you should, when you saw the accused, if you would.
When I heard the footsteps, I looked out the window. The window of the soul. From my window, I can see the window of the first floor hallway. Across the courtroom, you dig?
Courtroom?
The courtroom. This courtroom. Didn't you notice that the temple and this courtroom are 2 buildings kind of meshed together? They fit together like jigsaw pieces. And through the window I saw Albie walking into the treasure room.
Nah! Could you please add that statement to your testimony, Mr. Understand?
You got it, brother.
I'm sure this won't be used in any way to indict me, brother.
Hold it!
Through the window, you say?
That's right, brother. There's a courtyard outside the window of my chamber. Across the courtyard, I can see the window of the hallway to the treasure room, man.
Judging from the diagram, I guess that's plausible.
A view of the courtyard from your chamber. How nice that must be. I bet it's beautiful at this time of year, what with Khura'inese butterflies flitting about. You know it, Pops. I often look out the window into the courtyard while playing my gamelan. And it goes a little something like this.
Okay. Let's see.
How do we point out that... So what was the thing with the... Because it was like forever ago, I may have gotten confused. Forever ago we got the part where the blackout was the explanation as to why the lights went out.
Right.
But the song keeps playing. Did we ever mention that to anyone?
What do you mean?
That there was a blackout which cut the power from the speakers, but the song is still clearly audible from the victim's point of view.
Yeah, we pointed that out.
Okay.
That's what we used to
To do what?
move the crime from the treasure room to this great stairs.
Okay.
Yeah.
So because it's audible from there.
Yeah.
And I guess he's not the only one that plays the music? Is it a recording of him? Or if it's a recording of him, it would have been cut off by the power going out.
That's a good question. Oh!
Because how can he be in his room if he's part of the practice? And unless he's not. In which case, I guess there's somebody else playing music.
Yeah, that's a... Yeah, we couldn't...
Oh, and I look at the screen now.
Yeah, I figured out the contradiction while
Has that been on screen the whole time?
Yeah. So there's the contradiction.
Objection!
There's something off about that, Mr. Understanding.
My music is off? I'm sorry you feel that way, man. Maybe this vibe ain't topping the charts where you're from. What's your poison? Orchestra, jazz, soul?
There's nothing wrong with my ears, witness, but something's not quite right with your eyes. Mr. Understanding, you've been lying to this court.
Now why would I lie? I got nothing to hide. Truth, the truth alone is all I say. Lying, y'all. Nah, lying ain't my thing.
I contend otherwise. Do you recognize this object, Mr. Understanding?
It's a temple notice, man. What of it?
In this notice, the following instruction to the temple monks is written. All of the hallway shutters will remain shut for today's dance of devotion.
What you talking about, Phoenix?
Shouldn't have pronounced that G. I'm talking about the fact that your chamber... From your chamber, you couldn't... goddamn. I'm talking about the fact from Chamber, you couldn't have seen anyone going into the treasure room through those shutters.
Yeah.
Looks like you didn't get the memo.
No way. I don't believe it, man.
If you don't believe it, why don't you read the notice for yourself?
Ugh, I can't believe I forgot to close the shutters. You caught me. I didn't read the notice. Let's see. Something, will, something, for, something.
Is Is that your idea of reading?
I'm not so hot at reading Khura'inese, man. I usually get one of the other monks to read stuff for me, you know?
Doesn't that make your duties as head monk a little difficult?
Hey, cut me some slack, man. I only moved to this country 6 months ago. What?
That's quite recent, isn't it? So, how did someone who's only been here 6 months become head monk of a temple?
How little you understand. Religious faith can't be measured in months or years. I've only been an adherent of Khura'ism for 3 months myself. The Holy Mother's teachings really spoke to me, prompting me to stay in this country.
Or was it the fact that there are no lawyers here that spoke to you,
Mr. Payne, I know just how you feel, my man. Her Holiness's teaching spoke to me too.
Ladies and gentlemen, I present Brother Dumb and Brother Dumber. Well, I know why Payne suddenly became a believer in Khura'inism, but could Understandin have had an ulterior motive for becoming a believer too? Mr. Understandin, were you really in your chamber as you claim?
Well, what? Hey, be chill, brother.
Weren't you instead somewhere else?
Mr. Wright, what kind of nonsense are you spouting now?
According to Mr. Understandin's testimony, he saw Albie with his own eyes. Therefore, is it really nonsense to suggest he could have seen Albie from somewhere else?
Well,
Do you have a theory, Defense? Do you know where Mr. Understanding was, if not in his chamber?
If he wasn't in his room, then... If Albie had gone down the hallway towards the treasure room, there's only a few places he could have seen Albie from. I do have a theory, Your Majesty. Let's say the witness really did see Albie going towards the treasure room. What then? The defense proposes this is the only place he could have been to see Albie go down that hall.
Take that!
There. But you just suggested earlier that that's where the true culprit might have been.
Oh my god! Funny that. True, but no matter how I look at it, this is the only place Understanding could have been.
Mr. Foreign Lawyer, don't tell me. Are you accusing Mr. Understanding of being the true culprit in this case?
Yes, Your Majesty. I contend there's a strong possibility this witness is the murderer. Man,
Mumble.
they're mumbling so much that it's lagging the game.
how dare you be so disrespectful? First you criticize her benevolent insights, now you accuse the head monk of murder!
See, the best part about giving Payne this voice is that I don't have to do it after this case. This is the only place the witness could have been. If he was here, he could have struck the victim down from behind and moved his body to the treasure room.
That's nothing but groundless conjecture!
And there's one more thing. Do you remember what was said in the opening argument?
The opening argument? That was so long ago!
During the argument, it was suggested that Albie used his position as monk in training to get his hands on the treasure.
That's right! And what of it?
Well, why don't we try this twist on for size? The thief used his position as head monk of the temple to get a hold of the treasure.
What?
What? You joshing me, man.
The key to the treasure box has been passed down from head monk to head monk. What better position to be in if you want to steal the treasure?
You can't possibly be serious!
Does this mean you're claiming that Mr. Understanding's oath of faith is nothing but a lie designed to get him close to the treasure?
The witness hasn't been truthful in his testimony to this court, so clearly he isn't above lying! Didn't you swear to the Holy Mother that naught but the truth would you bring? In light of that, don't you think it's unfair to... I don't think it's unfair to call your faith into question.
This is ridiculous! Are there no limits to what this lawyer will say? I mean, lie is such a strong word. Maybe it was just a mistake.
Enough with the nervous wreck routine, prosecutor. You're just embarrassing yourself, man.
What?
What was that, Mr. Understanding? Lawyer man, you really are the lowest of the low. You've gone and said something I can't forgive. You called my belief into question, my faith in the Holy Mother. And nobody gets away with that. Is this battle scene about to happen? Who's your active Pokemon? What are we doing?
Oh shit. Oh shit, transformation!
Next episode's the finale of Case 1. Don't miss it. If you enjoyed this, be sure to subscribe. We have a lot more planned to come, including loads of VR content, even more when we get a second headset, and our new series, Next Gen Drinking Games, where we combine alcohol and gaming in inventive ways.